So here we are with the $1 million question, folks. And the question is not, is it okay if I pound my little sister if she's over 18 years old and we were both drunk at the time? I should edit that out. She subscribes to my channel. That'd be just so weird. True story though. But the real question is, do I need a body mount chop if I throw on 33s? I currently run a 17x9 rim with a +1 offset. I have 285/70 17s. I recently did a 3-inch lift in the front and a 2-inch lift in the rear. I ran 265/70 17 Nitto Ridge Grapplers and had absolutely no rubbing whatsoever. But when I showed you guys my upgraded 33-inch tires on Instagram, a lot of you asked me, did I need a body mount chop? So let's go ahead and find out. But before we make any assumptions that I'm doing full articulation and jumping up rocks and going over cliffs, I'm going to remind you that this is a weekend warrior that does light trails, and the most articulation it does is over speed bumps and up and down driveways. Here's my wheels turning left and right during a standstill. As you can see, I clear my body by a mile. Now I'm going to go down my driveway and spin my steering wheel completely to the left. Holy shit, were you guys right? Did I just hit my structure with my tires? No, folks, the arm on my camera holder fell and gave me an excuse to buy the new iPhone 19. So I went back and repositioned my camera underneath the truck. I went down my driveway, did a complete left turn while going down. Complete right turn to go straight, did a 3-point turn. And when I went up my driveway, I did a complete right turn while going up, making sure the steering wheel did a full cycle. Now we're going to go ahead and attempt the passenger side rubbing. Go ahead and turn all the way to the right while going down a driveway.
Recording. 3 channels started.
Going back up. So there you guys have it. 33-inch tires, 3-inch lift in the front. Absolutely no rubbing, no BMCs required. What is the difference between my setup and other people's setups and them having to do a body mount chop? Well, you have to take speed into account. You also have to take the amount of articulation into account. Everybody's circumstance is a lot different. So even if you do rub just a little bit, I mean, the plate is only 30 bucks and you take it to a local muffler shop to have it welded on for 100 bucks. No big deal, guys. But I'm just giving you an example of my setup and me not having to do a BMC whatsoever with 33-inch tires, okay? Nitto Ridge Grapplers. So before I even end this video, and this is for those who asked me, what's up with my dark intros? You know, you guys can stay. You guys, if you guys have time, I'm going to share you like maybe a 5-10 minute story. I have this interesting story to tell you that will allow you to live in my head for a minute, okay? So where do I begin here? A year ago, after my messy breakup with this Canadian chick in Alberta, Canada, I came back and I started to aggressively date on this dating site. Dating sites actually do work, guys. Jesus Christ, they do work. So I did find this girl that stood out. Her bio totally stood out. She was like a devout Christian. She came from a 2-parent household. She had 2 other siblings that were younger than her. She loved dogs, which is a major plus. Her dad works in a hospital, and her mom was a school teacher for middle school, elementary or middle school, it doesn't matter. And she was going to school for her undergrad at a UC at the time. And when I read her bio, I absolutely had to have her. You don't find these types of bios on a dating site ever. So about 3 times of reaching out to Sarah, that was her name, reaching out to Sarah without any replies, I gave up. I just moved on. I moved on with my life, and I just started gradually looking at other dates to go on. So a month later, I get a message, and it was Sarah. Now, I'm gonna skip all the boring dialogues, blah, blah, blah. She was out of the country doing stupid, useless stuff like volunteering at a foreign hospital for the poor or something. Dumb stuff. Okay, so we'll fast forward. And after the 4th date, she allowed me in her pants. I understand, 4th date, we finally had sex. I'm a little slow, but I do respect women because every single time I date, I have to assume that it's going to lead to something more serious, and it's going to lead to an engagement, and then maybe it's going to lead to marriage. I just don't like dating and wasting my fucking time. Okay, so back to the story. So there I was pounding her for a good 5 minutes before she held on to me and she said, "Hit me." So I'm like, okay, so in my head I'm like, she likes rough sex. So I gave her a cute slap, you know, a playful slap where it doesn't hurt you, but at least it gives you the impression that I'm hitting you. And then she looks back at me and she says, "You hit like a bitch." So she takes her right arm and she smacks me across the face. Wham, right here. It still hurts to this day. She knocked me out one. And because of reflex, I kid you not, I punched her really hard in the face back. Guys, girls, I do not hit women. I don't hit women or girls for any reason unless they steal like a dime bag out of my secret stash in the back of my garage or something. But that was only a one-time deal. I do not hit women, guys. But after I hit her, she crumpled up into a fetal position and she started to cry. And she cried for like a good 5 minutes. And I'm there and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." My whole entire life flashed right before my eyes. I knew I was going to get a felony. I was going to get registered as a sex offender or a domestic violence. I don't know. I just knew I was going to go to jail for that shit because I've been hearing a lot of horror stories, right? And the last thing I want is to be on YouTube crime documentary titled "Washed Up YouTuber Doing Life for Hitting a Innocent Girl 1/3 his age." But after 5 minutes of crying, she looks up to me and she goes, "Let's go get some Korean barbecue." And I don't know if confusion took over or stupidity took over, but we went out to eat after that. I mean, it was really tough enjoying yourself eating and having a conversation while your date had like a black eye and a split lip. After that night, I took her home and we didn't hear from each other for a long time, months, a long time. And then one day recently, I get this text message, a 714 area code, which is Orange County, and it said, "Hey, I've been wanting to call you on so many occasions, but I didn't know how. Can we start over? That girl you met half a year ago was not me. It was a bad time in my life. I have since moved on to become a better version of myself. Man, she had me at hello. We jumped back where we left off. Then one night, probably after the fourth date again, I don't remember, it was some time back. After the fourth date again, I'm pounding her, right? And maybe halfway into the poundage, I hear her dresser drawer opening up. I could see it on the periphery of my vision right here. I could see it. And she's reaching for something. I didn't pay attention because I'm like pounding her. I have to focus or else I get soft very easily. I don't take the pill, by the way. And then right in front of my eyes, she takes a knife and she stabs me. My heart at that moment literally jumped out of my body. I just jumped out of my bed. I ran for that door. I tripped over everything that was on the floor, and I was trying to fumble, trying to open up the bedroom door. And I can feel her hands touching my shoulder and turning me around. And here I'm panicking. I'm holding up my arms and my legs, trying to block another stab. And then she shows me it was a toy knife. The blade goes in and out, just like the ones they use inside movie sets. And she goes, in like the softest and calming voice ever, she goes, "It's just a toy knife." And I'm still there trying to calm down, and my breathing is still trying to normalize again. And she keeps on doing this. She goes, "It's just a toy knife. It's okay." And I felt like it was a moment where she was in control and I couldn't do anything except to just stay frozen at that moment in time. She goes, "It's okay." I don't know how many times she said it's okay, but she took the knife and she stabs me again, very slowly this time, in a way where she wanted me to be comfortable, if that makes sense. She stabs me, "Let's go," stabs me, "Let's go," and I'm still there, and I don't know what to make of all of this. This was just all weird to me. And then, I can't make shit like this up, guys. Her other hand goes down south, and she starts to service me, while this hand stabs me. And then the stabbing goes faster and faster, more rougher, like she is trying to rip the outer layer of my skin off. She just kept on doing this. And while she's doing this, her other hand is in sync. I'm not trying to be funny, guys, but that moment right there was probably the quickest, the fastest, lightning speed time I have ever ejaculated in my whole entire life. I've dated a lot of girls, okay? That one right there, I don't know, it did something. And the part that I'm leaving out, which is a little scary, is while she was doing all this, I could see the whites of her eyes because her eyes rolled to the back of her head, and it almost seemed like she was getting off on this, which was kind of super scary. To make a long story short, that was the last time I saw her. It's been months. That's the last time I saw her. But I have to admit, Sarah, introduced to me an entire new world that I cannot unsee ever. She made it normal. I don't know where she got it from. I can't blame it on daddy issues because her family was like almost perfect. But somewhere along the way, a great girl had this ultra super personality that you would never have guessed in your whole entire life.